Radical.
Oh, we're going to story time. Y'all ever heard of Amway? It's got like a kind of like a pyramid scheme company. Well, there was a guy. So this person came to me, and I think it was a Walmart. Came to me in a Walmart, told me about a business opportunity. They had a great pitch. Like I said, I didn't know much about pyramid schemes. I didn't know much about Amway. A lot of people probably go to him and they say like, "Oh, it's Amway, right?" Well, this was called Britt Worldwire, whatever. And he gives me a card, sets up a meeting, says he has a business opportunity. Talks to me for a little bit, then gives me flowering compliment. Says, "You know what? You might just be what I'm looking for." It has a pitch like it's a job that he wants to offer, but it's a pyramid scheme, and like I said, I'll go into that in detail later on pyramid schemes. But we meet at a McDonald's, right? We meet at a McDonald's. He tells me about Britt Worldwide or Amway or whatever. Gives me the structure, tells me all these things, and I'm like trying to understand a lot of it, but he talks in a weird kind of way. But it sounds good what he's promoting. Sounds good, right? So I'm thinking this is great. I'm going to be a businessman. This is going to be fantastic. Got to be fast tracked on my way to making money. I didn't understand a lot of it. I knew he said, you sell things from the company, then you get other people below you to sell things. He made it just look fantastic, the way he pitched it. But as we're going outside, I get into my vehicle, and then he gets in his vehicle. And my vehicle, at the time is a lot nicer than his vehicle. I mean, his is like a rundown, I think. Might have been a little tiny Hyundai or something like that. But it was run down, was beat up, had a couple dents in it. And I'm thinking to myself, he shows up in a suit here, and he's got this great, the way he sells it to me is great. But then we go outside and he's like driving a little piece of crap, right? And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. And again, I'll go into the full story because it's a really great story later. But that stuck in my mind that day. And I'm like, don't go telling people how to be successful if you're obviously not successful. But at this time, this was actually past tense. At this time, I was not as smart as I am these days. There was a time when Radical Rick was not easy to fool, but I had a big heart. And this guy kept on. He kept calling. He kept asking. He was the friendliest person you could ever come across. I kind of felt bad for the guy. I'm guessing he just didn't have a lot of people that were part of his team. So I actually thought to myself, this is a possible opportunity. I'm a pretty good talker. I think I might have what it takes to actually succeed at this, company, which later, multi-level marketing or whatnot. Again, I was not as smart as I am these days. But I thought to myself, I'll actually give this a try. And I'm not going to commit. I'm not going to become part of anything. I'm not going to sign any paperwork. The farthest thing I did was actually go to a big seminar. And I think that might have been maybe $100, And I thought, if anything, one day I could possibly do a big expose. Maybe it's a story I can maybe tell people one day, and maybe there might be some interesting moments, And granted, there's a lot I have to say about my experience with Britt Worldwide / Amway. And I do want to do a very long upload talking about that experience because it's one of the most interesting experiences in my life, I would say. But I do want to share something I found about Amway. Might be a testimonial. It might be actually just this is a blog post. And this kind of sums up a big part of Amway from the perspective of one person, their experience. I did not know at the time that every Wednesday meeting I would attend would cost me $6 a week. I was also asked to buy tickets to BBS, Business Building Seminar, which would cost me $25 per meeting, and this is held 4 times a year. Here they introduced me to something called the Eagle Program, where every person, if he needed to be an Eagle, had to buy 300 PV worth of products from Amway every month or else they are a chicken. Each PV was $2.50, making it a commitment of $750 every month on products. While doing all these, I was yet to see any earnings. They also mentioned about other larger meeting called conference/FED/leadership to be held, and it would cost me $100. These large conferences are also held 4 times a year. So this is a testimonial from one person also mentioning the $100 conferences and potentially how much money you could actually have to devote and spend into all this without actually seeing any real profit whatsoever. There are people that can be successful in this system. I'm not saying there's not anyone that can't be successful, but one day I'll do a longer upload really highlighting and talking about how terrible this company is and how terrible a lot of MLMs are, and how they actually, what they mostly do is they separate you and drive wedges between you, your life, your friends, and your family.